Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and since we currently have the dungeon ranking event on, I will also be doing a guide for the very hard dungeon. But let's go over the boss info first. And yes, we have 6 bosses, but to finish a dungeon we only need to kill 5 of them, so it's up to you which final boss you want to choose. However, for this dungeon you have to bring an X sigil if you want it. If you have enough firepower, then you can skip the sigil, but we need 2 elements, fire and lightning, and mainly because we have 2 modifiers, fire potency and lightning potency are both increased by 20%. But also don't skip on lightning, because Scorpion Sentinel is resistant to fire as well as the Marble. So yes, you could bring an non-elemental weapon, but lightning will most likely still do more damage. But first, Scorpion Sentinel, you can reduce his physical and magical defense. On Elena you can't do that, Marble also you can't. On Yuffie you can't do both magical and physical defense, and Assault Scorpion sadly not. Leprechaun ideally you can just ignore because we'll go for Yuffie. But even if on those bosses you can't decrease magical physical defense, you can still do, for example, lightning or fire breach or those elemental debuffing weapons. However, the dungeon map. This dungeon will give you a lot of freedom for which boss you'd like to kill first. And this is the starting area. Here is the first Marble. Here is the Sentinel. Oh, but also I would have forgotten, Assault Scorpion is the only enemy that is a little bit dangerous because he can poison you. So it's up to you if you like to bring a poison Esuna or just out heal the damage. However, then here you have Leprechaun, but ignore it. Here's Yuffie, and then on those 2 edges, here's that first Sentinel, and then here's Elena. And it's, I would say, how you do this dungeon, it's up to you, and mainly your setup. What are your weaknesses, what are your strengths? So it just depends on your team. But this will be my team. Zack is always my debuffer and healer. Sephiroth is both the debuffer and fire DPS, and Cloud is kind of both, because he has both the fire weapon and lightning weapon, but because he's the only lightning DPS I have, I gave him Ramu, and other than that just stat sticks. But like I said, I try to build both, so he has both fire and lightning potency. But then Zack, it's the same, just healer, and I give him that lightning breach. Only lightning breach because Sephiroth has that radiant edge that reduces fire resistance. Otherwise I would have also brought a fire breach. But also Sephiroth has the hellfire and some physical ability potency and fire potency. And of course everyone has the X sigil. So, like I already said, you can do anything in this dungeon, kill any boss in any order, and I would say it depends on your setup. For example, if you have very good lightning weapons, you can leave those lightning bosses for later, but for this dungeon ideally you want to invest into fire weapons and fire potency. But also personally I would not leave Elena for last because she hits very hard, and ideally you want to avoid that because later on she can be really dangerous. I just went near Elena just to build up my stance on those rare encounter ads. They would kill all of them, and I would just be building my stance and as well as my ATB with Zack. And the first boss I will actually do will be Marble. I don't really like this boss, so let's do that first. And ideally, as I said, if you are strong enough, you can skip the sigils. However, I'll be just doing this guide as kind of optimal. So if you're stronger, you can always just go for the pure DPS. And still, you'll definitely get a higher score. So here I just switch to Zac. I pressed the wrong thing, but it's still fine. But ideally I'll just be doing rune blows, trying to get those sigils out of the way, but also beware of those two Rangdas, because they will do water transfer now. So switch to defense to take a little bit less damage, so that's fine, and just go back. And I'll switch to Sephiroth so he doesn't waste his AEB, because I will need that in a second. But yeah, like I said, on Marble, if you have enough DPS, you can just go without the sigil and just kill him. And for the first trance ability, I will definitely not do a score boost, because physical and magical defense 40%, that is a very big price. It's very expensive, so I will actually choose the fire potency. And of course, if you want to score higher, you have to go for those score boosts. But then the dungeon will become a lot harder, because you get some score buffs, but you get some debuffs, like your fire potency is decreased, your attack is decreased. And here you can choose if you want to go to Elena or if you want to go to the Marble. The Sentinel. But I'll go to the Sentinel first. And here's also one more ad. I will also switch to Zac because I want to cure everyone, get to full HP. But also I'm trying to build up my ATB and the limit breaks. Yes, ideally I want to go into that fight with Cloud having his summon ready, which I think should be fine. I will try to switch back, do that, so we don't kill him too fast. And perfect. By the way, if you need any summon chargers, here you can use them, because when you defeat those... Oh, by the way, I have to look, because I think I am just tiny bit under. Yeah, I have to do one more attack, which is fine. But also, if you want, you can use the lightning cocktails, so you'll do more damage. And don't worry, they are more beneficial. You'll get higher score, so even if those items, they cost some things, but you'll still benefit from them. So, and now should be fine. And Judgment Bolt, and we'll be fine. Everyone will die. That's quite a good score, actually. And another trance ability set. Here you can choose between fire potency, 50%, that's a really nice buff, or score boost, but also your physical magical attack and fire potency, they will be decreased. And this is a really expensive debuff. And this time I'll go for the fire potency. However, if you want to score at least 2 million in this dungeon, you have to go for the score boost. Go at least for 40% or even 50% if you have to, if you can. Because, like I said, those score buffs, they they make this dungeon a lot harder, so you need that DPS. By the way, Elena surprised me a lot. I didn't expect her to be in this dungeon. But I'll switch to Zac. And ideally for her, you could use the the fire cocktail to increase your fire DPS if you like. And I'll just cure. And go back to Sephiroth, because I want him to be quite ready for the next battle. Yes, now after Elena, we only have that Poison Scorpion left. So I want Sephiroth to be ready for that. And another chance ability set. This time I will go for the score boost. Because yes, our physical and magical attack will be reduced. However, lightning potency, we don't need that anymore. So here, 20% score boost so far. And here I will actually use the fire cocktail on Sephiroth, yes. And I always, if you have fire breach, then always do that breach first and then go for anything else. I'll actually start here using Cura, so I don't have to use any other items later on. And actually, that was actually even faster than I thought. But if you do any limit breaks, always try to do the lightning breach or fire breach, or if you have the weapons, because that will increase your damage a lot. And last trance ability set. And yes, I will also go for the score boost, because max HP reduction rate plus 20%, it's fine. Ideally you want to finish Yuffie as quick as possible. And I think this run, it should be around 1.9 million or 1.8, something between that. But before I go to the actual boss, I will use Fire Charge as Fire Cocktail, and for Sephiroth I will use 2 summon charges because I want to have my Hellfire ready as soon as possible. Sephiroth has almost 480 B, but yeah, we should be fine. Actually, no, I will go for the... Nah, it will be fine. Okay. Escape Yuffie animation, I don't like that on Zac. Please heal me. Zac? First this. Oof, I don't know if I can. Okay, this will be very close. And quickly after this limit break, just switch to defense so Yuffie doesn't hit you very hard. Made it. And now just Cloud, why won't you use your weapon? Ideally, they will start breaking sigils, but you can finish her very quickly. Otherwise, you have to kill the sigils if you don't have enough DPS. And it should be always the X sigil. Sometimes, you know Yuffie, she can have one of the 3 sigils. That's why ideally you want to just kill her before she can cast that ability if you can't break the sigils in time. Yeah, like I said, between 1.8 and 1.5, so that's fine. However, like I said, if you want to, my highest score is 2.1 million, and if you want to go anywhere close to that score or even higher, you have to take 50% score boost. I'm not sure. If you like, I can make a guide on that as well. It's up to you. I just think for most players this might be more beneficial. However, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.